Guys, my name is Richard and welcome to another episode of the Evo Seminar Series. Today I'm going to be making a video on the lecture that was given by Maria Gomez on the multicellularity of yeast cells. Stay tuned. Thank you.
The Earth with its different habitats have influenced the diversity and the spread of different species of organisms. Organisms will survive and reproduce more in habitats when they have their necessary resources. It's important to, however, understand that evolution of organisms can affect the environment, and the environment likewise can be shaped by organisms. Yeast cells can grow and reproduce to form multiple cells when they have enough resources. Likewise, they can also slow down their metabolism, break down through apoptosis to form unicellular cells when they have no enough resources. In Maria Gomez's lab, she sought to explain how unicellular cells can evolve to form multicellular cells and vice versa in different growth media. She also determined how these two types of cells can grow, cooperate, compete when they are placed in similar growth media. Experimental procedures. Snowflake yeast cells grown in a lab were inoculated and pipetted into test tubes containing liquid agar. The test tubes were then centrifuged and allowed to settle down. The yeast cells that settled down earlier at the bottom were pipetted and transferred into tubes. This procedure was done a couple of times to help isolate heavier at the bottom of the tubes. 10 different yeast colonies were inoculated into test tubes to allow them to evolve to form multicellular cells with different sizes and density. In the tubes with the liquid agar, it was observed that the multicellular cells grew at a slower pace. This is because some of the cells in the multicellular cells will be big and also be surrounded by other cells, which will hinder inner cells to get access to resources. On the other hand, when the cells were grown on a separate agar plate, both multicellular and unicellular had a similar growth. In the experiment, she also competed similar amount of the unicellular and multicellular cells on the same agar media for 4 days. In the plate media, both multicellular and unicellular cells had equal amount of resources exposed to them. This over a period of time grew more and fast together with because in the multicellular organisms they have many cells together which compete for the same amount of resources in a given area which they are exposed to. These cells do not have locomotive parts and therefore it makes it impossible to move from multicellular cells to get resources. This over time will cause multicellular cells to reduce their metabolisms and break down to form single cells. Single unicellular yeast will have more resources exposed to their surroundings. This will cause unicellular cells to outcompete multicellular cells with agar. I conclude that evolution of multicellularity depends mainly on the availability of spatial environment and resources. Without space and resources, cells will not be able to expand to form more cells. Over a period of time, organisms can by natural selection or due to environmental factors break down to form unicellular organisms or evolve to form multicellularity. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please click on the link below to subscribe and watch the full lecture.